A game making less money has nothing to do with it being free-to-play friendly. It's more about players lacking confidence in the said product. Is it true, guys? How many of you guys, you don't spend money because you lack the confidence? Wow. I'm not sure about lacking confidence, but I can see like confidence is those things that are like... You don't know if... I think it's something that gacha players definitely feel scared because they scared a game EOS, right? But ideally, there are some people that they don't really care that much because they still want to support the devs. There's also going to be that, like 2 different factors for sure. Calling me poor. I think people always look at it in the wrong way. It's not entirely the gacha thingy. If your game has a solid foundation and it's something worth looking forward to, then nothing will stop the consumer to pay for it. Genshin always gets criticized for its bad gacha practices, yet the game is always trending and still haven't lost its popularity over time. What does that mean? The game is doing something right. Genshin #1. If players are willing to spend money in your game despite not having free-to-play friendly gacha system, then that means they still see a value in your product. People saying you should try a certain game because it's more free-to-play is a very dull statement in my opinion. That means your game has no identity. It's giving out more pulls and free stuff. Okay, what else? Tell me about the game. What's the story like? Is it well optimized to run across different platforms? How's the community support? What do you think? What if it's a Gunner game? You can't just tell people the story. Sunk cost fallacy? COVID is 90% of Genshin's revenue? Really? You think it's COVID? Wow. The Genshin haters still play Genshin? This coming from a loser, screw this kid. Yo, calm down, man. Calm down. What did he say that was... I might not 100% agree with what he said, but I see where he's coming from, right? But again, a lot of these things are like maybe true to a certain extent, right? Let's see. Would you assume the phrase free-to-play friendly actually means something when it doesn't? If you ask 3 people to define it, you will get 4 different definitions. Free-to-play friendly, what does it mean? That means that the game doesn't require you to spend much, and it is, it's quite generous, right? You are able to get a lot of things with it, right? The game is generous, you don't need premium 5-star to clear content, whatever fits the agenda. Pick your poison. Alright? Gives 10 pulls per day, about 0.1% and multiple dupes required. This game is so free to play friendly, you can pull for every max rarity characters coming out for free! Dog, you aren't fooling anyone with your magic trick. That's just Grand Blue Fantasy in a way. I never understood the argument that you don't need the SSR unit to finish content. Like sure, but the whole appeal of gacha games are the units. The higher star units usually have the best design and animations. Sure. But that doesn't mean that the first point isn't valid, right? Both could be valid. You could still clear without any units, could still be valid. You know the best animations and design units need to be pulled is still also valid, right? That's just what it is, right? There's little power creep. Wow. Usually I'm just pay to lose. Pay to lose. Any new games to play? I'm so bored. Wait, what do you mean you're so bored? How are you bored? If your life is so bored, you are very lucky. Alright, you are very, very lucky. That means you don't have to like wake up and deal with 11 gacha games like I do. Which is very good, right? Wholesome life. Free to play, to me, means I can download it for free. That's probably true. You don't need SSR unit to finish content, okay? That's what the thing. In the olden days, gacha games were you couldn't finish the content without having high rarity meta units. It's like how arcade games used to be high difficulty to make you spend more quarters. These days, it seems to have given that you can at least do main story and events with any random ensemble of free characters that game gives you, but it wasn't always the case. Yeah, because there's like endgame and stuff, right? Since Genshin is mainstream, it has altered how the system looks to the public eye. So in addition to now being considered games as a service, It is now expected to be a game with gacha, not the other way around, prioritizing gameplay. Okay. Wow. You get all the limited time event rewards using the free units the game gives, so you can save and pull for units you want instead of having to pull. The thing is, some people might start at different time. That's also one thing, right? Because like, for example, if you start Nikki right now and you don't have Evangelion characters, and other people have that character, and they are free to play, you could be free to play and they are free to play. Your experience might not be the same with other free to play players. I think like, people always want to compare experiences of other people to theirs, but I don't think it's always the case when it comes to any gacha games. Because some gacha games have collaborations and then you get a collab character and then you like, your experience as a free-to-play is a bit different, right? Can play Lost and Deep Space if you're bored. Yo, what? Play Lost and Deep Space if you're bored. But yeah, it's free-to-play friendly since you can save resources for units you like and you don't have to spend currency or dupes or weapons. You won't be competitive, but you aren't missing out on rewards. 2B in Nikkei? True, you can't get 2B anymore in Nikkei for the rest of your life. FOMO! FOMO! And it kinda sucks, but you know what? That's just how it is. So even if a game can be free to play, or free to play friendly, but if you start the game late, I feel like your experience is way handicapped. Your experience is way handicapped. You don't get the same experience as a day one player for a lot of games, I would say, right? That's just how it is. Like in some Wuthering Waves community, they bash Genshin. Their posts get likes, they think they're cool, so they repeat. So you are one of those person, is it? Are you one of those person? What do you mean? If you start gacha is free to play friendly and then extra explain that why you think that with specific parameters, you can clear the story mode on normal difficulty with free or starter characters, then that's good. If someone wants to disagree with that, they must change the parameters first, and that's also good. But because they will be explaining why do they feel that way. Instead, we normally get people throwing the phrase at each other without defining the parameters. How can you say Genshin is free to play friendly when there is no hard PT system? Wait, but there is though. Or how can you say it isn't free to play friendly when it's possible to get one free character every 2 months? Whatever people say to each other about this game, I don't really follow the arguments. The point is that they are each using different set of parameters than the other person is. So it's absurd to even argue because the parameters are largely undefined and also in conflict with each other. Okay? I can see that point of view. For sure. Your SSS tier Asuka is so OP. Yup. I can see that then. But yeah, this is one thing that I talk about as well, right? You probably can't it's hard to argue if a game is free to play friendly or not because different people are looking for different things. Some people might not even look for characters, some people they want to be able to pull weapons as well. And for some people, like when they say this game is free to play friendly because you can get all the characters, and then you tell that to the other person, and then the other person will be, wait, that doesn't make sense because there's weapon banner in the game. So in their mind, they are assuming you say that you can get every single character and weapon, but you're just talking about character. So yeah, that could also be like one thing, right?